This might just be your best option if you're looking for a no-compromise budget phone. Hey everyone, Vicky with PhoneArena, and in the past almost 2 weeks I have been using this phone, the new OnePlus Nord CE 5G, as my daily driver. And it has surprised me how capable this phone is and how little I missed from the flagship phones I used before. First of all, OnePlus Nord CE, that's way too many words in the name to pronounce with a straight face. Secondly, what's up with all the Nord phones? And where does this one stand? So the CE in the Nord CE name stands for Core Edition. And the idea is that OnePlus, which used to make just one great phone at a time, now tries to make a OnePlus phone for every price point you can imagine, but while still keeping the core elements of what makes a great phone. At least that's what marketing would like you to think. If this one covers all the basics, why would we buy the OnePlus 9T Pro Super Ultra? That's surely coming soon. Well, let's dive in and see how the experience is with this nice little budget phone. Honestly, when it comes to the core functionality idea, I think this phone did that pretty well. There were no major compromises that I felt while using the phone. The design for me is really spot on. The back and the frame are all plastic, but I don't mind. This actually helps keep the phone much lighter than many others, and that is an overlooked advantage. And the other thing is just the size. At about 6.4 inches, this size is just a perfect middle ground. This phone is not too big and not too small either. OnePlus also throws in a lot in the box with the phone for free. You get a very powerful charger that tops up the phone to 70% in just half an hour. And you get a free case, which I should say is just brilliant. First of all, it's thin and it has this clever cutout at the bottom, which makes swiping up from the top super easy, even with the case on. All of that for a device that cost just around 330 euro. That is really impressive. Also, you can do something impressive right now. Subscribe to our channel here to help us reach our goal of 2 million subscribers. That would be great. Anyway, I should also speak about the screen quality, because often these cheaper phones have a subpar screen, but that is not the case here. So you get a 6.4-inch AMOLED screen, and I actually compared it to the flagship Galaxy S21, a much more expensive phone, and the difference was hardly noticeable. 1080p resolution on both, and colors actually appeared similarly vibrant, blacks were deep, contrast was excellent, it was hard to see any difference. Sure, there are a few tiny compromises here and there. For example, on flagships you usually get a 120Hz refresh rate for super smooth scrolling, and it's a big difference compared to the typical 60Hz on older phones. The Nord CE supports 90Hz, which is still vastly better than 60, but not quite as silky smooth as 120. So you can notice it's not 120Hz, but you really have to be picky about this. The other thing is the performance. The Nord CE runs on the Snapdragon 750G, which is a mid-range processor, which just so happens to be the same one that powers the super popular Samsung Galaxy A52 5G edition. So I have used both phones, and I actually find the Nord CE runs a lot smoother and is less stuttery. So it is not only about the processor, it is about those UI optimizations as well. Okay, there has to be a catch, right? Everything sounds great so far. Maybe it's the camera. Well, yes and no. You have a triple camera system here, but really it's more like 2 cameras that you actually use and another one just for the books. That third one is a monochrome lens that you can easily forget even exists because, and listen to me closely here OnePlus, Instagram has a monochrome filter that does the same, but the other 2 lenses, a main and an ultra-wide, capture surprisingly good-looking photos. Here are a few shots I took on a walk in the park, and I also carried the Galaxy A52 to compare the quality, and surprisingly, the Nord CE can often capture even better-looking photos than the Galaxy. You can also take portrait photos, but only using the main camera, and that is a bit too wide, and this is one area where I really miss not having a 2x zoom telephoto lens. Subject separation is not great, and the bokeh is is obviously fake. In other words, if you use portrait mode on this phone, all the cool kids will laugh at you. And here are also a few selfies. That is the quality you get from the front camera. And in low light you get the nightscape mode that takes a longer exposure, and the quality is again surprisingly decent, but in these low light shots it's easier to notice that you don't have a more expensive phone. It's not quite as sharp. However, when it comes to video, I was a bit let down by the OnePlus. Yes, you can record in 4K resolution, but A, the footage looks shaky and not properly stabilized, and more importantly, B, you don't get the dynamic range and detail that you expect from a 4K video. Again, in a direct comparison with the A52, yes, that phone also looks very shaky, but at least it has excellent detail, looks sharp and has a good dynamic range. So you can do something if you feel adventurous, like throw it on a gimbal, which by the way costs as much as the phone, but anyway, if you like that, you can do it and you can still get truly impressive video quality on the Samsung, but not so on the OnePlus. But that really is the only big disappointment. The battery on the Nord CE impresses. The phone has a 4500 mAh cell, which is quite a bit larger than the 4100 mAh battery on the original Nord, and this showed in our battery testing too. The Nord CE lasted 9 hours and 50 minutes of continuous non-stop YouTube video streaming over Wi-Fi, which is an hour more than the original OnePlus Nord. And in real life, I was consistently getting a day and a half of use, which is about 36 hours more than I am getting with other phones. And when it comes to charging, again, you have the charger in the box and it goes from 0 to 70% in just half an hour. And no, you don't have wireless charging here, but with the excellent battery life and the fast charging options, I never felt like I was missing out on much. So that is the OnePlus Nord CE 5G. I didn't even mention that it has a headphone jack, by the way, which I and I'm sure many other people will appreciate. And on that note, here's how audio from the single loudspeaker on the bottom of this phone sounds. It lacks depth and clarity, and forcing someone to listen to your favorite new song through it sounds like a good way to test your friendship. But it's loud enough so it can do the job for podcasts, talking head YouTube clips, alarms and alerts. Okay, it's mostly great for alarms. Okay, apart from that, my only major gripe with this phone has got to be the haptic feedback. See, the vibration motor on the Nord CE is, frankly, terrible. This is one of a few phones recently that I had to completely switch the vibration off. It's rattly and annoying, kind of like having a bee in a tin can, all day. Not a deal breaker if you don't care about it too much, but it's something that I really wish OnePlus did not compromise on, especially since we've been spoiled by great vibration motors on most recent smartphones, even the previous OnePlus Nord. So the rest of this phone is basically just greatness in a budget form. The Nord CE price in Europe starts at, listen to me closely, just 330 euro, and make no mistake, just like the original Nord, this phone will sell in millions of units and it will often be sold out. So go get one early. I really don't think you can go wrong with this phone. If you're looking for alternatives, your best alternatives are the Galaxy A52 5G, which is quite a bit more expensive, and the Google Pixel 4a. I personally think that the Nord CE is the better value. It's cheaper and runs faster than those two other phones, but if you really want the best cameras, well, I guess you should still go with the Pixel 4a. But yeah, OnePlus is a different company. It has changed, and in my opinion, it has changed for the better. I will continue using the Nord CE for a while more. I really enjoy it, from its lighter weight to that cool blue color, and just the fact that you can have such a great phone at such a low budget price. So this will do it for this review. Let me know your thoughts about the new Nord CE and OnePlus phones in general. What's your experience been? Do you like the new direction the company is going in? Let me know in the comments. Also, we have all the benchmarks and tests on our website at the link in the description, so check that out for more details. My name is Vic, it's been my pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't to help us reach our goal of 2 million subs. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.